What's up guys? So with VR just now hitting the mainstream, many of you are probably on the fence about early adopting the new technology. And while being one of the first to experience next level gaming is a tantalizing prospect, since receiving my HTC Vive about 2 weeks ago, I've learned that that experience also comes with a handful of other factors that aren't quite as obvious as specs on a box. So today I'm discussing the top 5 things you can expect when buying a VR headset, at least in these early stages of its infancy. So in no particular order, number 1 on our list is designating a large space in your home for room scaling. This seems like a pretty obvious point to put on this list, but I've found that the HTC Vive's minimum recommended room scale requirement of 5 by 6.5 feet is way too big a compromise unless you're playing the solitary confinement simulator. My current setup, for example, is 6 by 9 feet, and that barely keeps me from feeling limited, so you'll want to carve out a similar space or bigger for the best possible experience. If you already have a large empty room in your house to lay to rest any doubts your friends may have about your excess wealth, then you're in good shape. But if not, just make sure that whatever's usually occupying the space can be quickly and easily cleared out when it's time to game. Also worth noting is that there are plenty of launch titles that allow for a seated or standing experience. However, some of the best VR moments my friends and I have had so far is when roaming about my room like a caged animal. Likewise, if you hope to make the most of your investment, you're gonna want the option for free movement, and that means having ample space to do it in. The second thing you can expect is that many of the VR titles at launch lack the kind of breadth you'd expect to see in big budget games. If you were expecting 10-hour-long campaigns with layers of plot and character development, you have to keep in mind that devs are still testing the waters with the new platform and exploring the possibilities of what VR can do, not how to make the next big AAA shooter. And that's not to say the first wave of VR games aren't incredibly fun and mesmerizing, they're just veering more towards the indie game side of the spectrum with a splash of futuristic, mind-blowing technology, of course. However, with the amount of support that Rift and Vive devs are getting from the likes of Facebook and Valve, I imagine it won't be long until we're riding chocobos 20 hours deep into a virtual Final Fantasy universe. When scaling your room in VR, you should also anticipate some entanglements with the headset cables. Even though they're grouped together to form one mega cable, having them dangle by your shuffling feet while you fly blindly in real life is a recipe for the occasional snag or two. 9 times out of 10, you can just shoo the wires out of the way with your feet and keep on truckin'. But every once in a while, you'll be spinning around the room like Legolas and with one swift motion, yank the cord from the featherweight link box, bringing your virtual streak of destruction to an abrupt halt. Until HMDs go fully wireless one day, perhaps hanging the cable from a ceiling hook of some sort would be a good alternative. Fortunately, VR motion sickness is less common today thanks to high refresh rates that have surfaced since the older dev kits, but that doesn't prevent eye fatigue after being jacked into your headset for prolonged periods. While this is a highly subjective topic, I can speak from my own experiences that after about 2 hours in the Vive, my eyes start to feel a bit strained. It's especially noticeable after taking the headset off and seeing the real world again, which often prompts me to cool down my eyes for a while before strapping back in. There's a chance that higher resolution lenses in the future can help minimize this effect, but a large cause of eye strain in VR is actually due to our eyes being focused on a fixed point while trying to converge or diverge towards objects that appear closer or further away. This visual mismatch is sure to affect some more than others, but don't expect a 12-hour VR marathon to go as easy on your eyes as with a standard monitor. The last thing on this list that you can expect with VR is that, much like my last colonoscopy, sweat and soreness is inevitable. Of course, this mainly applies to games that thrive off of room scaling, allowing you to duck, dodge, and dive your way to survival. While you may clean house in a game like Hover Junkers or make it to Wave 20 in Space Pirate Trainer, you'll look like a wet t-shirt contest gone wrong by the end of it. The foam padding on the headset doesn't hold up too well either. With all the VR demos at CES this year, it seems the men hitting on booth babes are no longer the greasiest things at tech conventions. Since sharing your perspiration with friends isn't the most polite or sanitary, companies like VR Cover offer waterproof leather foam covers that can easily be wiped down between sessions. It should also be mentioned as a disclaimer that crouching, crawling, and lunging in VR will make your arms and legs ache the next morning like a night out drinking with Chris Brown. Now we can rightly assume that the list I've conjured up today isn't something HTC or Oculus would willingly display on their websites, but if all this information was provided to me up front, I would still purchase the Vive in a heartbeat. VR is, so far, the most compelling technology I've ever had the privilege of testing on the channel, and it'll take more than a few caveats to change my mind about how awesome it truly is. But let me know what you guys think about this stuff in the comments below, and don't forget to toss me a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Before you guys go, check the description below for my new BIOS Flasher shirt, and feel free to bookmark my Amazon affiliate link and use it when you buy stuff. It helps me a lot. As always, I'm Kyle with Awesome Sauce Network. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe to the channel for more tech videos coming at you really soon. And I will see you all in the next video.